Hey, how concerned do you think the NHL and organizers are about the Team Europe concept right now? I mean, we understand that logistically there are a lot of issues. I think a lot of people looked at that team going into the tournament and thinking, okay, that was the team that was going to have that was going to be sort of the most difficult, nut to crack of certainly of the teams you were kind of putting together, the non-national teams. Is the NHL married to the concept of Team Europe? I mean, if this goes forward, as it appears this tournament is going to go forward, will there always be a Team Europe, or do you think that maybe that's open to refinement?
My sense is it's going to be a one and done, and no one wants to see them get embarrassed. But I imagine there's like a little bit of trepidation with that, and the way they lost to Team North America in those two pre-tournament games heading into this event. But I think this will be it for them. I mean, really, the interesting thing will be just because of the excitement that Team North America's created. Is if they do well and hold their own in this tournament. I mean, that was also, I think, in the back of the mind of the league to be a one and done concept. But maybe they would consider changing that if the team has success. But the biggest reason Team Europe exists is that they were concerned if, say, for example, they put Latvia in the tournament, that it would lead to sort of 8-1 scores or something in the preliminary round. And clearly this team has better talent together than they would individually. But if there's a blowout score, I guess it will not have been a success, because that's really ultimately what they were designed to do, is to give sort of the lower entries in the event the best chance to fight some of the superpowers.
Yeah, I would think, Chris, that the plan here would be for this to evolve into something that looks more like a conventional World Cup / Olympic tournament, because especially if it's going to be the replacement for the Olympic tournament potentially, so that both of those, whatever happens with Team North America, and, this is an extraordinary group of young players. If you did it 4 years from now, and most of those guys aren't available for your under 24 team, things change. You might have a different group of young players, might not be quite as thrilling as
Right.
as the current aggregation. But I would think that if this thing is a success, and especially if they're out of the Olympic Games, that we'll see something far more conventional next time, and probably multiple sites, and more what we saw in the past with the World Cup. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, and they want to have more qualifying for it,
Yeah.
so that that those countries can, even some of the weaker countries can play their way in and try to play on the same ice as these guys. And what the league said is that they didn't have time to pull all that together, within 18 months or whatever they announced this last time. But you're right. The big term vision is to have it almost be like a soccer World Cup, the way it's not played in as many countries, clearly, the game of hockey, but to have the same kind of idea to decide who actually gets to play in the main tournament.